Hello and welcome to the Cavern of Terror.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Cavern of Terror. As you can tell, this is a video about my new set and my complete horror collection as of 2017. I know I did a complete horror collection video not too long ago, but there are some titles in here that weren't in that video, and I want new subscribers to my channel to see my complete collection. That's why if you look behind me, you can't see any of my horror movies. I usually have horror movies off to my side here, and as you can tell, they are not there. Before we get into the horror collection, I do have something to show you that is set related. Red LED lights. I figured I'd take that production value up just one more step. One more side note before I get started, I don't have my full moon collection in front of me, but I did show that in my previous video, which I will leave up. So, finally, with all that said, let's get into my complete horror collection. First up, we have Zombieland, really fun zombie movie. I love Woody Harrelson in this, and all the dude wanted was some Twinkies. My Bloody Valentine 3D, this is actually one of my favorite horror remakes. Jensen Ackles pulls off a very interesting character in this. Vacancy with Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale. This is a pretty underrated slasher from the mid-2000s. I haven't seen it in a while. I think I'm definitely going to do a Cavern of Terror review for this sometime soon. Hatchets 1, 2, and 3. Guys, I love these movies. I have a playlist called Hatchet Series Reviews. If you like 80s slasher movies, if you like throwback slasher movies, even better yet, modern throwback slasher movies, you're going to love the Hatchet trilogy. Deathgasm, New Zealand horror comedy at its greatest, guys. It stars 2 Power Rangers and it's about metal. Come on. Plus it has this sick reversible cover art, and the Blu-ray is shaped like a record, a vinyl record, so that's really, really fucking metal. Final Destination, directed by James Wong. Yeah, I know, but the guy actually did a really great job on this movie. I have a review on my channel for it, and I ended up really liking this. It holds up very well. This is the Canadian release of Final Destination 2. It has one of the most incredible opening sequences to a Final Destination movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember loving it. I can't wait to review this one on my channel, which I plan on doing, along with the rest of the franchise. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Jennifer Love Hewitt's. I have a review for all 3 films. If you want to say the third one's even a film, on my channel if you want to check those out. Underworld Rise of the Lycans, probably one of the most underrated film in the whole franchise. Shaun of the Dead, this is a Target steelbook with the broken record with the blood on it. It's really cool. Edgar Wright is amazing. One of the best zombie movies ever made. On to one of the best remakes ever made, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. Leatherface is a beast and Jessica Biel is... This is a double feature pack that I got out of 4-pack when I was still doing them. Guys, I have to apologize. I actually had to cancel my subscription to Horrorpack. That's why you haven't seen one of those videos in a while. Maybe someday I will get that back, because I know a lot of you did enjoy those videos. But this is Tom Savini's Demonic and The Uninvited, or Uninvited, not The Uninvited, which terrible movie. I'm saying a lot. Uninvited, there it was again. Creepshow 2, another one that I got in Horrorpack. Stephen King's Children of the Corn. I saw this movie one time. Super creepy. Still sealed. I'm going to have to open it up and check this out again. This is a Midnight Madness series release. We're getting into the Horrorpack stuff now. So this is Dolly Deadly. It's signed by the director. Still sealed. This is a Horrorpack exclusive. Cannibals, Self-Mutilation, and Bloody Revenge. The unrated remake of Last House on the Left. Guys, this movie is brutal, and one thing that still gets to me to this day is Aaron Paul is in this movie. He's on the back, but he's not listed in the cast anywhere. I understand this was way before Breaking Bad, but come on. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. John Carpenter's Halloween. It's funny that we go from John Carpenter's Halloween to this. Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. The Carrie remake starring Chloe the Carrie remake starring Chloe Grace Moretz, and one of the reasons why I got this is actually to review it, obviously, but that slipcover has this awesome lenticular. How awesome is that? The blood? That is so cool. I wish it would stop glaring. So you could actually, there you go, get a really good shot of the blood there, and that's pretty sweet. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Now this is actually an art card. I hate the art that they used, and I will show you what it looks like. I hate it. I hate it. It looks alright, but the lettering, I just don't like the lettering whatsoever. That looks so much nicer, don't you think? Never given my thoughts on this one, I don't think. This is the Crazies remake. It's a remake of a George A. Romero film, and this is really good. Timothy Olyphant is the main character. Oliphant. He's the main character, and he's really good in this. Kind of reminds me of Rick from The Walking Dead. You know, he's a cop, takes over the town, leads the group of survivors. Kind of the same thing. Joyride, guys, I just did a review for this. It was a really fun time. It seems to be a huge hit, so I believe I'm going to be reviewing Dead Ahead and Roadkill, the 2 sequels, so look out for those. Urban Legend. Groovy. Evil Dead 2. Listen, baby, it's just not going to work out between you and me. Army of Darkness. Crystal Lake Memories, the complete history of Friday the 13th. Guys, I've talked about this at least 3 times on my channel now. If you like Friday the 13th, if you like Jason Voorhees, you need to get a hold of this documentary. I know I don't think it's available overseas. It might be, but not in some countries. But they talk about absolutely every film in the franchise, including the remake, at detail, complete length. All the Jasons come back that are still living, and the ones that I believe are passed away, they actually do have some video footage of them from interviews. Almost all the cast comes back except for Kevin Bacon, unfortunately, and this is really good, narrated by Corey Feldman. Do you like Huey Lewis in the News? Hey Paul! American Psycho. Sinister. Clown. Why is that sticker still on? Why is it sealed? Okay, so that has been the first stack of movies. We have 4 left. Speaking of Kevin Bacon, Tremors, Cloverfield. Really? Again? Really? Oh. Rob Zombie's Halloween. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Alright, here we go. Resident Evil movies. Alright. Resident Evil. Resident Evil Apocalypse. Resident Evil Extinction. Resident Evil Afterlife. And Resident Evil Retribution. Not the biggest fan of this franchise. I've reviewed all 6 of these movies in my not from the shelf. Done one of those in a year. Resident Evil Retrospective. Short thoughts. Really like the first one. Like the second one even more. 3 is kind of a mixed bag. I can deal with 4. 5 was probably the weakest one before the newest movie came out, which I fucking hated. Really, really bad. But I actually like these 5. I don't know why. Especially this one. This movie is terrible. I don't know why I'm still talking about Resident Evil movies. Jeepers Creepers, and I know what you're asking. Well, Zach, why don't you have the sequel? Why don't you have the Scream Factory versions? That's a good question. I actually do want the Scream Factory. I can't talk. I actually do want the Scream Factory version of the first one. I don't know if the slipcover version is still available, because I know they go out of print really fast. Love this movie. Really creepy. Justin Long is awesome. I think he's channeling his inner Nicolas Cage in this. Obviously, I would say that. And the one chick is really good in this too. Gina Phillips. Yeah, she's really good. And don't really remember the sequel too much, but I think the Creeper is actually scarier in that one. Speaking of Scream Factory, Death Becomes Her. Bruce Willis is hilarious in this movie. So is Meryl Streep. We are on the Underworld, some of the Underworld movies. Okay, let's talk about Underworld and Underworld Evolution. Already talked about Underworld Rise of the Lycans, but we also have Underworld and Underworld Evolution. These are probably my 2 favorites, and the third one is like my 3 favorite in the whole franchise. I like Underworld Awakening, but these 2 are probably the best. The Hills Have Eyes unrated. Guys, this was a hard one to track down, the remake. Alexander Aja. This was hard to track down. I found this in FYE in a store, believe it or not. Yeah, I really enjoy this. Really good. Pyro from the X-Men. The Ryan Reynolds Amityville Horror. This movie actually gets a little bit of hate in the community, and I don't know why, because I really enjoy this. It's a solid remake, and it's a solid horror film. Another movie that sort of gets unneeded hate, The Strangers. I saw this in theaters, and it was terrifying. I never thought that I would say I love a Paul W.S. Anderson film, but guys, Event Horizon. This movie is amazing. If you haven't seen Event Horizon, please check it out. The game Dead Space was inspired by this movie. Minutes Past Midnight. This is an anthology film. There's a lot of movies here, so I'm not going to go over all of them, but there are 8 in total. And I got this through Horror Pack. Cell Count. This was a Horror Pack exclusive, and it is also Cell Count by the director. It's signed by the director. I haven't opened it up yet because it's got this really cool sticker on here, and I don't really want to damage anything, but I'd like to check it out someday. Red Dragon, this is basically a glorified remake of Manhunter, but I really enjoyed Anthony Hopkins and Edward Norton in this. He was really good. Jaws, I'm not going to say much because pretty much everyone has said everything that you can say that is about Jaws. It's amazing. Anthony Hopkins in Hitchcock. This biopic kind of flies under the radar in my opinion. It's really good. Anthony Hopkins is amazing in this. The Leprechaun Complete Collection. I'm going to tell you right now, I love Leprechaun in Space. Leprechaun Part 4, baby. The 1979 Amityville Horror. The Fede Alvarez Evil Dead. The Nightbreed Scream Factory. This movie is really underrated, and I'm happy that they finally have the director's cut out. This movie is great. See it if you haven't. Dark Summer. This is a Scream Factory I got through Horror Pack. Village of the Damned. This is one of the more underrated John Carpenter films, and it is also a Scream Factory. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I know what you're going to say, and I'm going to get some hate on this, but I actually really enjoy I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead. Adam Green's Frozen. Let it go. Let it go. Reanimator, H.P. Lovecraft's Reanimator. I know there's a whole bunch of really cool versions of this, but I really only need this version. There's a bunch of special features on here that are amazing, and it's just a really good movie. See it if you haven't. I got a pretty underrated werewolf movie with Howl. Underworld Awakening. I will admit it, guys. I hated on this movie for a long time without actually seeing it, and after I did, I kind of really enjoyed it. It's not the best action movie, and it's not the best movie in the Underworld franchise, but it definitely has its place. Lords of Salem. This next movie is one of my favorite possession films. The Possession, starring Jeffrey Dean Morgan. It's about this Jewish-based possession. It involves a box. It's really interesting, and the third act is super intense. Friday the 13th, Part 3. Friday the 13th, Part 2, one of my personal favorites. No, not Friday the 13th. This is The Collector. Really enjoy this one. This is directed by one of the writers of Saw. I think Marcus Dunstan. I think he wrote Saw. Co-wrote it, I think. Anyway, The Collector is really good. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Speaking of Saw, really need to pick up the complete film series collection. It's only like $15. I don't know why I haven't picked it up, because that's stupid cheap. Come on, got to do it, come on. End of days. I know I did that in the last video, but I have to. It's Arnold, come on. Hands down, one of my favorite remakes ever. Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. This movie is begging to be reviewed on my channel, but we're gonna have to wait a couple more months. Trick or treat. Finally, we get to Friday the 13th. This is the uncut version of the first one. Written by Quentin Tarantino and directed by Robert Rodriguez. From Dusk Till Dawn. This one through Horror Pack. This is All Cheerleaders Die, which is also a remake of the same film, directed by the same director. Kind of like Funny Games. The Psycho Steelbook, I got this from Target. Manhunter, I know Scream Factory put out a version of this not too long ago and didn't pick it up, but I have the regular MRA version. It's what Red Dragon is based on. I think they're based off a book. Silence of the Lambs. The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Now this is a remake and a sequel, because the movie, here's how it is. The original is based on a true story. So that movie is a movie in this universe, and it's also based on a true story in this universe, and this is technically a sequel to the original, but yet a remake at the same time. It's confusing, but it is cool. One of my favorite movies ever, Interview with a Vampire, and I love the new cover art. The Ward. A lot of people hate on this movie. I enjoy it. I think it's rather underrated. It Follows. Daybreakers, sick vampire movie, super brutal, super dark. Willem Dafoe steals the show in this. He's awesome. Cabin in the Woods. I saw this movie in the theaters. Joss Whedon's writing is impeccable. It's amazing. The reimagining, not a remake. I refuse to call this a remake. House of Wax. The end doesn't really hold up visually, but I enjoy this. I don't know why I said it like that. I don't know why I'm making a question mark after everything. Another brutal vampire movie, 30 Days of Night. I love the tribal-ish version of vampires in this, the world they created. It's really cool. The Stepfather remake, don't worry, this will be reviewed soon. Another one that's going to be reviewed very soon, within the next few months. Krampus, a Christmas horror story anthology. I haven't checked this out yet, but I really want to around Christmas time. You know, a Christmas horror story, I have to watch it at Christmas. The Prom Night remake. Tom Holland, Brad Dourif, Child's Play. Can't wait for Cult of Chucky. Underrated vampire movie, Near Dark. Please see this movie. It's really, really good. Bill Paxton is a really creepy vampire, and so is Lance Henriksen. The original Carrie. Jennifer Connelly, the American version of Dark Water. Species. I don't have any of the sequels, but I know that Species, Species 2, and 3 all came out on Scream Factory. I'm not sure about the fourth one. Wrong Turn. I love this art card, so I put it right on the front. Don't think I've ever... Yeah, that's the original cover art, which isn't bad. I just prefer the art card. I think it's cool. Freddy vs. Jason. Heard mixed things about The Purge, but I really want to check this one out. And apparently the sequels too, because apparently they're good. Hopefully I'll get reviews out for these. I'm gonna save those. Let's go to this stack. The Ring. Love The Ring. Gore Verbinski. Amazing. Same guy directed Pirates of the Caribbean. The Anchor Bay release of Hellraiser. I'm actually a bigger fan of the sequel. I've said this before, but Clive Barker took his own writing and made his own movies. Like, he wasn't a fan of some of the earlier movies that were made after his work, so he took it in his own hands. We got Hellraiser. The Devil's Rejects, unrated. Love The Devil's Rejects. The Fright Night remake. Everyone kills it in this movie. They're all great. Another movie I think that gets unwarranted hate, Tusk. There's only really one kind of lackluster part of this movie, and I can spoil it by now. I think most people have seen it. Johnny Depp's character. Didn't dig him in this, and I didn't dig him in Yoga Hosers either. And I really liked Yoga Hosers, but I didn't like his character. Chopping Block. This is a slasher movie that I got out of Horror Pack. Haven't checked it out yet, but I'm interested to. Feast, unrated. Look forward to seeing a review on this, because I think I'm going to do these very soon. I think this is the movie that brought M. Night Shyamalan back. I know it was split in a lot of people's opinions, but I really enjoyed The Visit. Another remake with a really awesome slipcover. Nightmare on Elm Street. Look at that. Look at that. That is so cool. Say what you want about the movie. That slipcover is amazing. I've done a complete video on this. It's in my top 10 Blu-rays of all time. Alien Quadrilogy set, all 4 movies. Crimson Peak. This was horribly mismarketed. It's a dark love story that has ghosts in it. This was never supposed to be a horror film, but it was marketed as one, and it got really bad reviews according to that, and it's really good. Del Toro, guys. It's gonna be gorgeous when you see it. It looks amazing on my TV, and Tom Hiddleston kills it in this. Jessica Biel in The Tall Man. Cabin Fever. Ugh. One of George A. Romero's most underrated movies. Yes, I said it. Diary of the Dead. Love this movie. It may be a little long for some, but I really enjoyed this one, especially being from PA. I run a show called Cavern of Terror, and I haven't reviewed The Descent yet. What the hell is wrong with me? David Cronenberg's The Fly. This will be reviewed. Chrome Skull Laid to Rest 2. It's a slasher movie, and it has Danielle Harris in it. Why am I not watching this right now? I had the double dip. I got the Psycho pop art slipcover from Best Buy. I don't know if they still have these anymore, but this is really cool, and it has all the same special features as the Steelbook. Insidious and Insidious Chapter 2. I enjoyed both these movies. I don't have Insidious Chapter 3, but I heard it's good too, and I really do want to pick that one up. And I know that they're coming out with a fourth one very soon, so I want to get reviews for the first 3 out before that one comes up, because I enjoy these movies enough to do a review series on them. Friday the 13th, the remake. Hated it in the beginning, love it now. The Grudge, the American remake. Love this movie. Sarah Michelle Gellar, really good in it. So I'm going to run through my Universal monster movies. I'm dropping everything, actually. I have Boris Karloff, The Mummy. Bela Lugosi's Dracula. It really makes me mad I don't have the version that came out with these glow-in-the-dark slips, but whatever. I have The Bride of Frankenstein. The Invisible Man. Frankenstein. Creature from the Black Lagoon. And The Wolfman. I do plan on doing something very special with these someday, and sometime soon, hopefully around Halloween. And this just bothers me. Why is it different? Why didn't I get the Dracula one at Walmart when they had it? Hopefully they come out again this year. So I saved my personal favorites for last. I have my Wes Craven collection. Cursed. I actually had to order this from Canada. They don't make this Blu-ray in the United States, and I think this is kind of an underrated werewolf movie. Yeah, I said it. Christina Ricci. I like this movie. Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know why I don't have a review for this on my channel. Got a review for the remake, but I don't have a review for the original. Last House on the Left. This is the original art card version. I can show you the original cover. Right there. I actually really enjoy this one. Reminds me of Scream Factory, so I left that on there. Swamp Thing. Gonna do a review for this after I finish a certain select Scream series. A certain Scream series. I'm gonna jump into Wes Craven's other movies. My Soul to Take. Speaking of Scream, the quadrilogy set, I guess that's what you'd like to call it. Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 3, and Scream 4. The People Under the Stairs, one of my favorite Scream Factories. Look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. Shocker. That's so cool. Still need Serpent in the Rainbow. Wow. Guys, that has been my complete horror collection as of 2017. Every movie that I have, and pretty much every story I can give you on every movie I have, short of giving you an actual review. So what did you think of the movies in my horror collection? Let me know down in the comments down below. If you liked this video, please give it a like. If you want to see more of the rest of my collection, like my action movies, my sci-fi movies, dramas, stuff like that, also let me know that down in the comments down below as well. If this is your first video to my channel and you like my content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit that bell button, that way you get notified every time I put out a new video. Also, if you could, let me know what you think of my new set. I worked pretty hard on putting this together, and I just wanted to give you guys a good thing to look at other than me. Stay tuned for my Scream series. It's starting very soon. I gotta get a couple frames and a couple more things before I get started, and yes, I said frames. I'm probably going to roll out my Joyride reviews before Scream, just to round off that trilogy. If there's a series that you'd like me to review, please let me know that down in the comments down below. I'll be glad to check those movies out for you. If you can, I would appreciate it if you check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LetterBoxd. But most importantly, guys, I'm Zach. This has been the Cavern of Terror. Stay metal, my friends. Turn my lights off, bitch!